Watch and burn.
Hey everyone! So tonight I want to discuss Johnny Cash's second album for Rick Rubin's American, and that is, of course, Johnny Cash, Unchained. Occasionally referred to as American 2. All of these American releases are sometimes referred to as American, American 2, American 3, and so on and so forth. But this specifically is, of course, Unchained. Now, this is his second album that he did with super producer Rick Rubin. On here, there are rowboats on here. His cover of Soundgarden's is incredibly well-timed cover of Soundgarden's Rusty Cage. This record was released in '96. Soundgarden was still incredibly important at this point. Of course, Rusty Cage is off. Was that Bad Motorfinger? I can't remember. I think Rusty Cage is off Bad Motorfinger. Fuck. Hey, Google, what Soundgarden record is the song Rusty Cage on?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Hey, Google, what record is the song Rusty Cage on?
Bad Motorfinger. According to Wikipedia, written by frontman Chris Cornell, Rusty Cage was released in 1992 as the third single from the band's third studio album, Bad Motorfinger.
I was right.
To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
I was right. He was Bad Motorfinger. Yeah, so at this point, for him, for Johnny Cash, or rather for Rick Rubin to present Johnny Cash with a number of pop songs, and for him to sort of find his favorite one, and his favorite one being Rusty Cage, which is a song that I personally can't stand. I've never really been into Soundgarden. I always figured that, like, a lot of this grunge thing, it was sort of, there was a lot of nonsense that came along with it. Like, grunge didn't exist. Grunge wasn't a thing. Grunge was the creation of the media in order to sell ripped jeans and plaid lumberjack shirts and shit to kids. Grunge was essentially punk. And Nirvana was unmistakably punk rock. But lumping in Pearl Jam and Soundgarden into the sort of grunge umbrella, it didn't make sense. Grunge is, you know, it's supposed to be kind of punkish, I suppose, and Nirvana definitely covered that. But Soundgarden and Pearl Jam couldn't have been less punk. And I'm not saying that to insult them. They're incredible bands, but calling them grunge, it's like, why don't we call them classical? Or why don't we call Pearl Jam polka? Or maybe Soundgarden's more R&B? You know, they're not grunge. But grunge was still, it was dying off at this point in '96, but for Johnny Cage to cover Soundgarden, it's like, sort of like, it's filling in the generation gap, and it's showing that you can teach old dogs new tricks. And again, this just continued to solidify Cash's cool with young people. So Rubin nailed it again. And on here, favorite tracks off here, Rowboat. Let's see. This one's actually one of my least favorite releases from Cash. Where'd the light go? No, the light didn't go anywhere. I Never Pick Cotton's on here. Unchained is on here. I've Been Everywhere. God, I love that song. And that, what was it, Greyhound used that really, really cleverly in that song they had about where all the places their buses go. Not to Northern Ontario anymore, I'm pretty sure. But that's a great song too. But this record is sort of the one that I identified with the least. With Sea of Heartbreak, Rusty Cage, I just don't like Soundgarden. You know, I mean, The One Rose, Country Boy, Memories Are Made of This, Spiritual, The Kneeling Drunkard's Plea, Southern Accents, Mean-Eyed Cat, Meet Me in Heaven. I do feel like they just sort of come and go. But yeah, so I will leave it here. I don't want to go on and on about this. I already discussed in my first video for Cash's first release for Rick Rubin's American Records how important Rick Rubin is to the history of popular music. I'm not going to repeat myself. Rick Rubin's an important guy. If you doubt me, look him up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discuss Johnny Cash's second album for Rick Rubin, and that is Unchained. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for someone, but most importantly, don't forget that I really appreciate all of you watching these, and I hope you have a fantastic day or night. See you around. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.